Hello, welcome back. Bit of focus. I've been away for a couple of weeks, but much has happened. I had prepared a hour-long PowerPoint presentation going one-on-one at our local MP's office with a prominent representative from the Technology Institute talking about the health effects of 5G. Now, unfortunately, for a number of reasons, that was cancelled, and but I do have a lot of information that through my research I've gained, so not all is lost. The presentation was really focusing firstly on, as a family doctor, what the principles are and ethics of my practice are. First, do no harm, that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, which was Benjamin Franklin's statement. My Hippocratic Oath, and leading into the concern of all the scientists around the world, both about the existing levels of radio frequency, non-ionizing radiation that we're being subjected to, but also the going into the unknown with these highly pulsed higher frequencies that 5G will represent, as long as with everything else. And I have to say the most alarming thing is that it reconfirms that the evidence is very strong. In fact, it's totally accepted that what we've been exposed to in the last 30 years is cumulatively dangerous, particularly to young and vulnerable. And there's no doubt about that at all. I'd have to say the evidence is as strong, possibly stronger than the basis of that we're rightfully watching our environment for climate change. So why is it then that this scientifically based, evidence-based stuff is not being explained by our media? Well, many of you will say, well, that's obvious, it's money, and I think there is that to a point. But I think there's also a degree of madness. I think there's a degree of not only cognitive dissonance, but now they know that the science is so overwhelming that they're a bit afraid. But it's the madness comes, the psychopathy comes, I think, because they are not realizing it's going to be affecting them and their children and future generations. There may be a few at the top that know that and couldn't give a shit, and those are the truly psychopathic. But the rest, there's an illness, I think, out there. And it's a very serious, deep illness. And it's been it's been promoted, this propaganda, which is very serious and dangerous, has been promoted by our media. And we'd have to realize the electronic media are just the mouthpiece for the technology industry. They are as one. There's a lot of talk about conspiracy theories, but here conspiracy means, or conspire means, that you breathe together, all right? So you harmonize together. So therefore, and I think out of fear, as much as anything else, and certainly not common sense or putting anything into context or even being concerned about the lives of human beings, they are worried. Each outlet is worried they're going to be left behind if they don't take on this 5G technology. So yes, it is about their advertising with Spark and Vodafone, of course, and I note TVNZ made a loss of 17 million, mainly because they are becoming irrelevant, I think, to most people's lives, and the programs, the only decent programs they have are imported. So, but they're also supposed to be our national broadcaster. They're also the first to take on direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising many years ago. And I also got worried in the 90s when I saw that our financial news was being sponsored by one of the banks. You know, obviously internationally, New Zealanders are assumed to be very gullible people who are easily led from pen to pen, maybe. Emily writes from Spin-Off, what is 5G and how likely is this to fry my brain? Now, I've said before that it's very important for all activist groups to do what they want. But if you start talking about frying your brain, 5G frying your brain, that bumper sticker, you're basically playing into the hands of these guys, easily gaslit, because we're talking about non-thermal effects, not thermal effects as well. So what media will love, ridiculing and gaslighting anybody who strays from, well, they'll label them tinfoil hat people who believe in UFOs. Well, everybody believes in UFOs because not every flying object has been identified, but then that's not something maybe we shouldn't go to. Emily, apparently an editor for Spin-Off, a New Zealand media outlet, is a mother and a woman who apparently doesn't mind that the evidence is becoming strong that follicles, and which are the precursors of your eggs in children, are destroyed by non-ionizing radiation. Not bothered about that at all. I mean, that would include a little bit of research, and what would a journalist do if they had to research? Okay, I sound cynical, but I can't believe that this nonsense is going on. Should we be afraid? Okay, this is what she's asking. Should we be afraid? Okay, so no. Okay, fear isn't terribly productive. Okay, apprehension may be, but should we be afraid? In other words, the only possible stance for this must be that we're afraid. Therefore, we can't do anything about it. Let's be powerless and afraid. Should we be afraid? Deathly afraid. Afraid that governments, this is what she's saying, Western governments sometimes cover or make up rationales to invade foreign nations. Concerned that our local political sphere is increasingly being swayed by astroturf groups. Worried that law enforcement groups worldwide seem to be more friendly with fascists than anti-fascists. All the virtue signalling. You just don't need to be afraid of 5G. Spin-Off science content is made possible thanks to the support of the McDiarmid Institute for Advanced Materials and Nanotechnology, a national institute devoted to scientific research. Okay, here we have 5G is set to enhance your life. This is the Vodafone's new promotional campaign. Here we have a father with a young son who's got his tablet over his young son's genitals, and this is enhancing their lives. Well done, Vodafone. That's good. That's a good one. This gets even worse. This is a patience project. This is a project which is backed by not only Spark, but it looks like the Make-A-Wish Foundation associated with the Starship Hospital. This is saying that it would be a great idea to connect those children with cancer to their classrooms, so they experience virtual reality of their classrooms, and in doing so they will be having these virtual reality glasses over their heads, pumping 5G into their eyes and to the front parts of their brain, which I suspect won't help their condition that much. Okay, and a lovely believing teacher who thinks this is good, and of course a certain amount is good about them connecting, but it's all propaganda. And the people associated with this who haven't thought about this shows that this serious madness is getting out of hand. And here we have TV1's expert Paul Brisnan saying new 5G cell phone technology is in no way dangerous. In no way dangerous. He's the expert, and of course he's an industry man. And the ex-journalist John Campbell nodding in agreement. What is this all about? Is it about money? Is it about people in power knowing exactly what's going on, which I believe it is? Many people who are involved in the industry being mere pawns, wanting to pay their mortgage and having no say in their life or the life of their children. Cheerio. Thank you. Bye.